Hey everybody, how y'all doing? It's Patrick, and today I'm going to show how I test my NeoPixel strips here using an Arduino. So I've got a reel of the Adafruit NeoPixels here, or part of a reel. I've already chopped some off, you can see there. And I've got my Arduino Uno set up, and I've got it connected by USB to my laptop here. So the first thing I want to do using the Arduino IDE is upload the strand test code to the Arduino. If you don't already have the Arduino IDE installed on your computer, Adafruit has a really good guide for doing that. Just follow the guide, simple instructions, and set up the latest version of the IDE on your system, whether it's Windows, Mac, or Linux. And then after that, go through and install the Arduino libraries for all the Adafruit NeoPixel stuff. It includes all of the sketches for testing and everything. There's another simple guide here to do that as part of the Adafruit NeoPixel Überguide. And that's something I really recommend you read through because it tells you everything you ever wanted to know and then some about using the NeoPixels from Adafruit. So once you've got your IDE, the Arduino IDE set up on your computer, and you can go in, you can load the sketch from the examples down here, the Adafruit NeoPixel, and it's a strand test, and that's what I've got here. And I just want to make a couple of quick edits or double check some of the settings in here before you upload it to your Arduino. First, make sure that you're using pin 6. I think that's the default setting here, and that's the one I'm going to use on my Arduino Uno. If for some reason you have a different microcontroller that you're using and you need to use a different pin, change that number here. And the next thing you're going to want to do is put in the number of NeoPixels you have in the strip that you're testing. If you're going with the full reel of the 60 NeoPixels per meter, that's going to be 4 meters, so you're going to want to put 240 here. I know my sample I've got right now, I already chopped a couple of pieces off the ends, so I know I only have 200 left, so I'm going to change that to 200 pixels, or 200 LEDs. And then the next thing you want to do is add this line to the setup function. What this is going to do is this strip.setBrightness30 makes it so that the maximum brightness of those LEDs is going to be about 12% of what it normally is. This number can go anywhere from 0 to 255, with 0 being completely dark and 255 being the brightest. And because you're using an Arduino and assuming you're plugging it into your computer, you don't want to pull a lot of voltage through that. You don't want to pull a lot of power through that, because that might cause problems with either your USB connection or with the Arduino itself. So just make sure you set this to a low number. And believe me, this 12% of the total brightness is going to be plenty bright enough to test these pixels. And then the rest of this code is the stuff that makes the NeoPixels work. This is just a couple of different animations. It runs a color wipe, a couple of color wipes in red, green, and blue. It commented out for the RGBWs. If you're using the RGBW NeoPixels, you would uncomment this. And then a few other functions are run to test the NeoPixels. So once you've double checked your code and made any changes that you need to make here, including adding this set brightness line, you want to go through and make sure that you're using the right board. In this case, I'm using the Arduino Uno, and it's using the right port wherever you've got it plugged into your USB. So I've got that set here. Then just click the upload button, and assuming everything's good, you'll get some code down here. Done uploading, and now you're good to go. Okay, now that the updated strand test code is on the Arduino, we're going to unplug that because we don't want to be plugging any NeoPixels into a live circuit if you can help it. So we unplug that, and then we prep our NeoPixel strip. So when you get these NeoPixel strips from Adafruit, the full-length ones on the reels, there's going to be a plug at the end with wires already sealed up here. Make sure you've got the right end. This is the in way, not the out way. And there's arrows on the little PCB that'll show you which direction data is supposed to go. So here's a better picture of the NeoPixel strip, the end that you want to attach to the Arduino. Make sure the arrows are pointing away from where the wires are. That lets you know that this is the beginning of the strip. So this will be the first pixel, second pixel, third pixel, and so on. Zoom in here a little bit. You can see the little arrows right here on either side. So if you look at this, and if your arrows are pointing in the other direction, if they're pointing towards the wires, you've got the wrong end of the strip, and it won't work if you try connecting with that end. So you want to make sure this is the end of the strip you're connecting to your Arduino. Come with two wires already cut. You've got your power, which is the red, ground, which is the black, and then this one, which I've already chopped up, is a plug with white and black. So that's data and another ground. So to get these ready to test, just snip the white wire, strip the end of it, twist it a little bit, and you can fold back that other ground just to get it out of the way. So you're going to have three wires. You're going to end up with power, data, and ground. And then to hook this up to the Arduino, the easiest thing I found is using these alligator clip wires. Little alligator clips on the end. Very easy to attach here. So just clip some on the end of each of the wires. Make sure they're kept separate so nothing's touching. So I've got my red one here. Clip it on the end of the red one. I've got a black one. Attach that to the black, to the ground. And then I'm going to use a green one here for my data. Attach that to data. And again, make sure none of these things are touching. Spread them apart if you have to. And then to hook it up to the Arduino, the other end of the alligator clips, I put these jumper wires in. So one, you can see they've got the pins on the end. Makes it very easy to stick into the headers on the Arduino. So alligator clip one end of the jumper pin, and the other one goes into your Arduino. In this case, this is data, so this is going to go into pin 6. And my ground, I've got a wire here attached for ground. That goes into ground. Over here. Oops. And then power. Stick that into the 5-volt power. And you can really use either the 5-volt or the 3.3. Both will work for these, for the NeoPixels. And then make sure your alligator clips aren't touching each other or anything else on the board. Keep everything separate. And then once that's done, plug in power to your board either from the computer or from an external battery. And once it powers up, your LEDs start going. You can see starts out doing the red sweep, and then it'll do green and then blue. And this is a good way to test to see if there's any individual pixels not working, or if the strand cuts off at some point. And if you only get part of the strand lit, make sure that your code has the right number of pixels in it. Like I said, I knew for sure this was 200 because the full 4 meters at 60 a meter would be 240, and I know I already chopped off 40 off the end. So I knew that I had 200 pixels here. And you can see all of them are lit. If an individual pixel wasn't working, it would either be discolored compared to the others around it, or it wouldn't be lit at all. And Adafruit recommends you unroll this, and I've seen other people say unroll it, spread it out on the floor so you can see clearly. I think doing it this way gives me plenty of indication whether or not something's going to work, especially if only part of the strip is going to work. If I saw a little discoloration, or if one of the pixels wasn't working, then I might unroll it to find out for sure which one it was, and then mark it somehow, so if I wanted to use the rest of the strip I could cut it, or if I needed to talk to Adafruit or somebody about returning it, whatever you needed to do. But this will cycle through, doing all these really cool colors and effects, and eventually it'll come back to the beginning and start doing the red again. But that's it. So now we know this reel is completely working, all the NeoPixels are lighting up the way they're supposed to, and we're all good to go. So thanks for checking out the video. If you liked it and learned something, click the like button. I'd appreciate it. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and get some more cool videos about this electronic stuff and the projects that I'm working on. The next big thing is going to be my LED t-shirt, and that's where these are going to be used. So thanks for watching. Until next time, what's your Wii?